For Moses, who's going to talk a little bit more, maybe about 4 or 5 minutes, about what's actually going on with the jail and why they're proposing jail renovations and what the actual alternatives are that they can actually do, right? So this is not something that they can't do differently. They're just choosing not to do differently. So, Ann, if you want to talk a little bit about what's happening.
Yep, I'm with Moses, an interfaith organization in town, and we've been working around the jail issue for many months. Since last June when the proposal first came out. We've done a lot of research as best we can as citizens, and basically everything you need to know is on our website. 4 documents that we just posted a couple weeks ago, a PowerPoint that explains our positions and our arguments and some of the data that we've looked at, and this mobilization letter that we're trying to get hundreds and thousands of people to sign and add their own notes to, or otherwise modify and send in to all of the county officials. What we discovered is that there are some problems, and you know Dane County Jail has 3 different sites. There are some problems in the city county building site. That's where the solitary cells are. But the problems are not that bad right now if we could just empty people out instead of trying to build a new $150, $160 million jail. Besides, if we let them build a new jail first, they'll build it too large, they'll have too many beds, and they will fill those beds, which will only worsen the racial disparities in this county. So what we're saying is first we have to address the racial disparities. We have to stop putting people with mental illness in jail. Right now, if you have a mental health crisis, they arrest you, they bring you in here, and you end up in a solitary confinement cell for weeks and months. The United Nations defines the use of solitary confinement for more than 15 days as torture. We got people in our own jail for months and weeks for various reasons. So our demands that we have in this letter go right along with the proposal from Leland Pan and Carousel Baird. That's the proposal that when we sign in, we're going to say we support. I'm not sure they're even talking about it tonight, but they tend to change their agendas at these meetings at the last minute anyway. You want to testify against building any new jail, including the latest addition idea of adding 4 floors to the top of the public safety building. And instead of doing that now at all, we want them to approve the other proposal, which is includes things like this: to build a restoration center or resource center. They have various names in various communities. That's got a full range of mental health services. It's an alternative place for the cops to take people who are in mental health crises. Also, we demand that the cops always have mental health professionals go with them on calls where there may be an issue of mental illness. And that's called community interventions instead of just arresting people. We also want the Ferris Center closed. This has actually been recommended that Dane County close the Ferris Center. That's where the Huber people live. Huber is a work release. You can also be out for school or even going home to take care of your kids. National consultants for almost 8 years have told Dane County, close your Ferris Center. If these people are safe at work all day, they don't need to come back and sleep in the jail at nights and the weekends. It's a waste of money. We want that closed and instead replaced with a day reporting center. People just check in every day. They also have services there for various addictions or whatever else folks need for help. So we want solitary confinement dramatically reduced, if not eliminated. We want people with mental health to stop being put into jail. All kinds of treatment alternatives and diversions. We have problems in this county where black folks are 51% of the people in the jail, and they're only 14% of the people out on home monitoring instead of jail, a bracelet program. And what's going on there? That's a huge racial disparity. We want more people out on the bracelet monitoring. There's all kinds of things that we want. There's also a lot of people in Dane County Jail because they can't afford to pay various fines and fees. You may not know it, but if you steal a candy bar, you're going to end up owing over $600 for the arrest and the charge. So you can't pay that $600, you go sit in jail, and we pay about $90 a day to keep you there. It's ridiculous. It's a waste of money. And so the jail here, Dane County Jail, works as a debtor's prison pretty much, or as YGB puts it, the criminalization of poverty. So we have to address all of these problems first before we ever think about building anything else around bricks and mortar to build a prettier jail. First, our goal, Moses' demand, is that we cut in half the number of people in Dane County Jail in the year 2015. We have a partner with the Hoover Family Foundation, and they're working nationally. This can actually be done between the Hoover Family Foundation and all of these things that Moses is asking for. We can actually do it, so that's our demand. Thank you very much.
Okay, so really quickly, I just want to talk about the proposal that Carousel and Leland proposed for the $8 million. We know that the $8 million can go to brick and mortar, but it also go to research. And so what we are proposing is that what Leland and Carousel propose is that they do research to investigate some of the following. So there's 8 pieces. I'm going to talk briefly about all of them, or most of them. So one is a mental health court. If folks have mental wellness challenges, there's no reason why they need to be in jail. There should be some sort of alternative for them. Alternatives for youth outside of juvenile court. Eliminating and reducing solitary confinement, reiterating that, and that includes alternative spaces for those with mental wellness needs. 4, putting all current alternative incarceration programs in one facility so that folks don't have a hard time getting to them all if one doesn't work. And also making sure that all those programs are directly addressing racial disparities in incarceration. 5, a standalone mental health facility where folks will go instead of jail. 6, initiatives that decrease the amount of time someone is locked up. If you get locked up on the Thursdays, it's terrible. It's like you're not going to get out till Tuesday because of the way court. So there are some initiatives that they can do some research on, like court on Saturdays. Other folks signing signature bonds outside of a judge, so like the sheriff or somebody. 7, a mental health crisis intervention team. 8, researching the cost and requirements, safety and security concerns within the Dane County Jail. So you say we want to make renovations because there are a couple locks. Fix those locks, but don't build a new jail. So that's all 8 of them, and we say that there's no point of doing this research if it isn't going to directly impact the racial disparities that are going on within the jail right now. So all of these priorities should be the needs of the communities of color, especially black folks, because we know that black folks are disproportionately incarcerated. Again, 44% of the jail is black folks, although we are only 5% of the population. And I just want to, I know there was a lot of information I just gave out. It's a whole proposal. I thought it was nice. Does anybody have any questions that they want to ask? We got about, so right now it's 5:18. They're going to start the meeting at 5:25. So we got about 5 minutes for questions. Either you can ask Young Gifted and Black questions about, why we're pushing for alternatives and initiatives led by black communities. And you can also ask Moses questions about some of the work if you all have any questions for the next 5 minutes.
Right.
Go
I
ahead.
have a couple questions, if that's okay. I want to know, I've heard that you have to pay. Is it true you have to pay to stay at Huber?
You have to pay for everything. You have to pay for your own probation and parole. That's about 20-something bucks a day. Huber, you have to pay for the privilege. They just raised it to 26 bucks a day. In fact, if you do the math, if you're a Huber participant, by the time you pay the Huber fees, you end up making less than minimum wage.
And is it true that a lot of people then quit their jobs or any security outside in order to pay for Huber? I mean, that's something that I'd heard that.
I don't know about that.
Well, you actually end up losing more security outside. Not that Huber isn't a better alternative, but that even still it creates less security for people outside. But my other question was, is there an organization or are there programs that are black run that can fill in the diversion program need right now? Like, so I guess what I'm saying is, if let's say the DA's office was like, yeah, let's have more diversion programs, let's do it, and the goal is to have those diversion programs and the services provided to be run by the black community. Right now, are there services like that available that are run by the black community that could answer the needs of the diversion programs?
Yes. Yes and no. So there
That's
are.
what I was going to say.
Yeah, and other people can jump in too, but there are programs and there are, folks working in the community around some of these things that either, one, don't get any funding or are grossly underfunded, or two, that when they apply, the city just overlooks them. So there are, for example, African-American, culturally specific mental wellness providers and therapists, licensed therapists, psychologists and psychiatrists here. But the city is not investing in them or not funding them, or the county isn't, so that's one. Two, there are, when we think about what the issues are, there are multiple layers to the issues, right? And so there are tons of community organizations who are working on solving conflict that happens, right? That the city needs to invest in, that the county needs to invest in as well. And the other answer is no, there is not a black program that can solve poverty. If people are being locked up because they're poor, no, I don't have a program that's going to end poverty or end capitalism. So if that's what the DA is saying I need in order to let people out, then the DA is being unjust.
Yeah, no,
No, I'm just saying. So I think that's the other piece. Is some of it, these are system-wide issues.
Yeah.
That there are things that the black community can do and that we are doing, but some of it, you gotta let people. Whether or not you solve poverty tomorrow, you still gotta let people out because you can't lock up people for being poor.
Right.
So that's the other piece, is that I'm challenging them to say, even if there isn't a magic pill that solves poverty tomorrow, so what? You can't still have people in a cage for being poor. So, but go ahead.
Can you or Ann talk about that 45%, the $1,000 or less for bail?
32% of the people in Dane County Jail, it was a year ago, 32% of the people in Dane County Jail had a bail set of less than $500, which means that the judge knew that they were no danger to the community. Another 2% of the people in the jail had a bail of less than $1,000. So that shows that they're no danger to the community and they should not be in jail at all.
And they're only there because they can't pay it.
Exactly.
So we want them released. So now it's about time for us to go up and register, but if you have more questions throughout tonight and also in the future, contact either Young Gibson Black, Ferguson to Madison @gmail.com, Ferguson to Madison @gmail.com, or Ferguson to Madison on Facebook, or contact Moses and your phone.
MosesMadison.org, and please look at the PowerPoint. That I put 4 documents up there, and I said this is all anyone needs to know. These 4 documents tell you everything you need to know about the jail and the situation here. You can take that PowerPoint and mobilize any group you want to mobilize. It's all you need to know, I promise.
And the room that the meeting is in tonight is room 357. Room 357, so you can walk up or you can catch the elevators up. And remember to fill in the little sheets to give a public comment, public testimony. Yes for community solutions, yes for community alternatives, no to jail spending, no to jail spending. All right. Thank you. All right, let's do it. Let's go.
All power to the people!
All power to the people.
I'm taking
Come on, Carmen, you with us.